Oh my God. The whole time.
What's going on, guys? Matthew back again, this time for another political video. And it seems that NBC has a JFK footage that could lend a lot to what is actually the truth revolving JFK and his death. Let's get into it. Okay, so this comes from the dailymail.com. JFK director Oliver Stone calls for a reinvestigation of Kennedy's 1963 assassination. If you don't know who Oliver Stone is, I'll put a picture of him right here. He's a director. He directed that one movie, Vietnam. I can't think of the name now, but I'll put it up here. And he also directed the other movie, which I'm also blanking on, but I'll put that name. JFK. I actually have never seen the JFK movie. I fully intend to watch it very soon, considering everything that's going on. But yeah, he made the JFK movie with, I'm also blanking on his name, the actor's name. I've always heard it was very good, but I have to check it out. The freewheeling hearing of the House Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets, where partisan grievances were aired, followed last month's release of thousands of pages of government documents related to the assassination. The task force Republican chair opened the proceedings by questioning the Warren Commission investigation's conclusion that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in fatally shooting Kennedy as his motorcade finished a parade route in downtown Dallas on November 22nd, 1963. And we all know that to be false, that it was not Oswald by himself, at least. It may not have been Oswald at all, according to this footage that Oliver Stone is speaking about. Scholars say the files that President Donald Trump ordered to be released showed nothing undercutting the conclusion that a lone gunman killed Kennedy. Many documents were previously released but contained newly removed redactions, including Social Security numbers, angering people whose personal information was disclosed. Stone's JFK was nominated for 8 Oscars, including Best Picture. It won 2. It grossed more than $200 million, but was also dogged by questions about its historical accuracy. Of course it was. Stone told the committee that he believes decades of delays in releasing unredacted records had prevented clarity about who killed JFK. Stone also said a new investigation outside all political considerations should begin at the scene of the crime. Is that even possible at this point? I mean, outside all political considerations, that's just not possible. Whether it's Israel or CIA, whoever's involved, it was probably both of them. There's going to be politics involved no matter what. He goes on to say, and then re-examine all the evidence from the day of the assassination. Scholars and historians have concluded that there is strong evidence that Oswald, a 24-year-old former Marine, acted alone in killing Kennedy. Quote, can we return to a world where we can trust our government to level with us, the people for which this government exists? This is our democracy. This is our presidency. It belongs to us. And that's true, but it hasn't belonged to us for nearly 100 years. I would say since World War II, and the president that I'm blanking on, he mentioned when he was leaving office, he mentioned the military-industrial complex. And I do believe that since that time, this country's probably not been of, by, and for the people like it should be. The task force chair, Rep. Anna Paulina Luna of Florida, said she thinks the federal government under previous administrations had engaged in stonewalling. The task force also heard from a witness called by Democrats who criticized the Trump administration's handling of the recent JFK document release. John Davison, senior counsel for the Washington-based Electronic Privacy Information Center, called it hurried and suggested that the National Archives and Records Administration simply ignored procedures for protecting people's privacy. Well, you know what? It's been how many decades now? 6 decades since this happened, and we haven't gotten anything. And I know they released like 80,000 documents, and it's going to take a long time for people to go through it, but at least they released everything. They didn't release some and say, oh, we're going to keep these because all that's going to do is cause more conspiracy theories and for people to have more questions. The task force's Democrats followed up on his comments by criticizing the Trump administration over a variety of other issues. What I find funny about this hearing is that the Republicans are here relitigating whether CIA agents lied 60 years ago. Well, oh, that's Jasmine Crockett. Okay. Good old Jasmine Crockett. The best thing to ever happen to Republicans. Just let her keep running her mouth. That chick is going to help us a lot. Crockett suggested that Congress should instead delve deeper into revelations that top national security officials discussed sensitive attack plans over a messaging app and mistakenly added a journalist to the group chat. Yeah, I did a video on that maybe like a week ago. That was definitely not good how they allowed someone to get in the group chat, but I kind of want to know who killed JFK. That's kind of a big deal. It's a former president. The last formal congressional investigation of Kennedy's assassination took 3 years and ended in 1978 when a House committee issued a report concluding that the Soviet Union, Cuba, organized crime, the CIA, and the FBI weren't involved, but Kennedy probably was assassinated as a result of a conspiracy. In 1976, a Senate committee said it had not uncovered enough evidence to justify a conclusion that there was a conspiracy. The Warren Commission, appointed by Kennedy's successor, President Lyndon B. Johnson, who could have also been involved in the assassination plot, concluded that Oswald fired on Kennedy's motorcade from a sniper's perch on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, where Oswald worked. Police arrested Oswald within 90 minutes, and 2 days later, Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner, shot Oswald during a jail transfer broadcast on live television, which is very convenient. Very convenient for any loose ends that there might be. For Tuesday's hearing, the task force also invited Jeffrey Morley and James DiAngelo, who have written books arguing for conspiracies behind the assassination. Morley is editor of the JFK Facts blog and vice president of the Mary Farrell Foundation, a repository for files related to the assassination. And there's Oliver Stone there. And Paulina Luna, who I don't know how she got in charge of this. I think she's a freshman. I'm not sure how she got this power. But you might also know her recently for fighting for remote voting for congressmen and women based on pregnancy and afterbirth and all that stuff. Okay, here's Representative Anna Paulina Luna of Florida talking about the JFK docs.
Actually tell the American people, it was made aware to me this evening that NBC actually has a video that's never been seen before. We're actually going to be sending a letter requesting that from NBC because it allegedly shows Oswald near the vehicle when the assassination took place, which means that he couldn't have been the shooter. So again, we're tracking down all this information. But look, there's even a CIA document that came out that Mr. Morley pointed out that actually said that the CIA never bought the lone gunman theory. And so I think the American people had an inclination as to what we were saying, but we never had the hard evidence until now. And so it's important to note that in a free and fair society, how could you operate or have an agency operating in the shadows? And so kudos to President Trump, also Director Radcliffe and Tulsi Gabbard for pushing for this transparency. It is going to be generational changing that they've done this, and we hope to bring forward legislation to ensure that this never happens again for future generations to come.
You're saying NBC has been keeping this tape of Oswald under wraps?
Correct. In fact, Director Stone actually...
And what does that do for NBC? Like, once this gets revealed, I mean, do they go under? Do they just have to fire whoever's in charge now? Because whoever's in charge, they've been holding it secret just like everyone else who's in charge before them. Let's go back a little bit.
Correct. In fact, Director Stone actually told us that he was showed this tape, that it was a secondary copy, and that he said that this could blow open the entire JFK investigation. What I will also tell you, though, Jesse, is he said that NBC has been very, very much so guarding this tape. And so I believe that that tape belongs to the American people. We are going to be sending a letter asking for that tape. And I would encourage everyone to ask NBC to release that tape to the public. It's important, not just for our investigations, but so the American people know the truth as to what happened with John F. Kennedy.
That's right. And I have another video here. This is actually Oliver Stone at the hearing, speaking with Congress.
It'd be very interesting. Mr. DiEugenio and I saw a film of a potential Oswald watching the motorcade go by, which means that he was downstairs at the time of the shooting, and that would be very interesting to see. We couldn't say for sure that was Oswald, but it's a man who looks like him. So I think it would be a very good idea for the task force to subpoena NBC, which has the original film.
Yes, they supposedly have the original. Yeah.
They have the original film. They've refused it twice to be shown.
Yes.
And if this task force could easily get that, and American public should have a right to judge for itself who was standing there.
Okay, very, very crazy news if true. I cannot wait to see that footage. I believe all this broke, like, this says April 1st, so it's been a good minute since all that came out. There's always news coming out. It's so easy to cover up news. You know, you still got that Vegas shooter from, what is that, 10 years ago now? You got that helicopter crashing into the airplane a couple of weeks ago in D.C. Guys, more plane crashes, all kind of stuff. There's always a news story to cover up anything. We have to stay on top of all that, including the Epstein files, which I still haven't heard anything about. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel have been very huge disappointments so far. But anyway, I'm trying not to make this video go on too long. That's the video involving JFK and Oliver Stone. Let me know if I'm missing any context in the comments below. Let me know if you agree with me or disagree with me in the comments below. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time. Take it easy.